welcome to this presentation on writing challenging queries for multiple RDBMSs from a single UI. My name is Anil, and I'll be your host and presenter for the day. A couple of housekeeping rules. If you would like to ask a question, please put it in the GoToWebinar questions panel, and then we will be having a quick Q&A. So for those of you who have already joined, I just would like to get a show of hands if you're able to see my screen, please. You can use the raise hand button to showcase that you're able to see the screen. Okay, excellent. Okay, good. So now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and switch over to my DBArtisan environment. So today we'll be covering what exactly is DBArtisan and how to write some queries using the tool from multiple RDBMSs. First and foremost is that DBArtisan is our flagship database administration tool, and it helps you to administer multiple databases in a single UI. As you can see here, I'm connected with DB2, I'm connected with SQL Server, I'm connected to Oracle, and I'm connected to Sybase. So all in one single UI, I'm able to get and start programming using. This session is going to be start programming using DBArtisan. Now this session is going to be focus on a specific topic, and then we can leave some 15 minutes to talk about Q&A. So let's get started. One of the first things that you will see is here you have the file new, and you have the iSQL window. So one of the quickest ways of getting into and starting your query journey is by clicking on File New and then launching an iSQL window. Once this is done, you should be able to connect to the respective database platform. Here I'm connecting to the SQL Server database, and I'll choose Wide World Importers. You have a couple of options. You can just start writing your SQL statements, and then you'll get the IntelliSense being popped up like this, and you can go ahead and execute. This is one of the first ways of accomplishing this. The second way is to actually go ahead and start using what we call the paste SQL statement. So this will actually go ahead and do this here. So what we can do here is we can actually go ahead and click on the Wide World Importers. And this is where you can actually go ahead and choose which table and which schema you want. So here, if I wanted to go with the, let's say I go with the Middle Eastern sales, and if I see anything, so I can either do that, or I can just say all owners, and I get all of these here. So here I can just choose these tables, choose the appropriate columns, and you can see that DBArtisan, how smartly it goes ahead and builds the SQL statements. Now you can also go ahead and format the SQL. So here it looks like some of these statements are invalid because of the query join. You can go ahead and go to the query options, and this gives you the option to go ahead and specify the regular set of queries. So you can do estimated plan to actual plan, any of those. So once you're done with it, you can go ahead and execute the query. Go back to the previous query here. So let's go to, let's say, and go ahead and type in application.cities. And this time I've enabled the query plan. Let's take a look at the query plan. So here you can look, DBArtisan has generated a query plan, and you can choose to view it as a tree like this. It gives you all of the parameters. So let me just take this out of the way. And this gives you what kind of cluster index and everything it needs. Then you can also view this as a graph. So this actually visually just tells you what it's doing and what a table scan is being performed. Next, what we can do is you can also go ahead and use under our tools menu, you have our query builder. So with the query builder, you can actually go ahead and add like this. And then if I do this one here and go to the archives, you'll see that I can actually go ahead and start performing a join by dragging and dropping this here. So I can actually go ahead and issue a join. I can do that. And I can also go ahead and look at table aliases that I can perform. So this is also one of the areas where I can do and do another table alias. And I can also specify having a where clause and an order by this in ascending or descending. So you can see that. Now, if I wanted to just go ahead and one of the joins here, you can see I can do a join like this. And now you can see that the query is has been updated automatically. So next what I can do is I can do a control A, and there we go. So now it's filtered, and again, look at the query plan, get an estimated query plan here, like this. It gives you all of this here as well. Next, what we can do is also, given the advantage of how you can build all of these statements, you also have the ability to write efficient SQL. So for example, if I wanted to go ahead and go to, let's say, the Oracle database, now I can go into my schema, and here I can go ahead and pick tables that I need. So here I have a couple of tables that have a certain number of rows. So I can right click here and do a select statement. So that automatically goes ahead and gives me that. But the other way that you can also do is you can also highlight some of these data sets, right click on it. Let me go and highlight it again. And I can actually go ahead and generate insert statements. So let's say that you're having a test database and you wanted to go ahead and start working on some of these data that you do not want to have some production info. This gives you some the ability to give them the short amount of data, and plus just enough for your testing team to make sure that everything is good to go. Now also I can go ahead and specify a particular schema if I wish, and then if I do, I can go ahead and also customize based on the schema view here. So let's say I wanted to do a filter, and then I do a node filter for then I can just Oracle. And then here I can just pick that I'm just interested in the schemas, as I do not want to collect. Okay. Notice it just has only those that are required based on the schema. So it just shows me just the schema a filter here. Next, let's take a look at DB2. And here, if I go and do the same process, I do have the ability to actually go ahead and do the same here as well. And here you can see that if I wanted to do the explain plan a different way, you'll see that it has all of this here as well. Now you also have the ability to add this to your script library. Now with the script library, you can actually go ahead and add this as a shortcut. So let's say that I use Control and 1, and then I go into a new iSQL window, and I just use Control 1, it automatically go ahead and populates that script for me. So these are some of the ways that you can actually go ahead and start building real fast queries with DBArtisan and with multiple database platforms. Now, the benefit to using this is also coming from a DBA background, you are just used to your own environment, but here you're getting like the 360-degree view of all of these databases all in one place. One of the other key benefits in the database administration world is how do you monitor or evaluate performance? Now, I wanted to leave you with this last tidbit before we go on to some questions. Here, you can see that we have what are known as our Analyst Packs. So here, if I explore the Oracle, or go Oracle database, or if I go to the SQL Server one, I have some Analyst Packs, Performance Analyst. This is where you can actually see how your database is being performed and how everything is being executed. So you can have your top sessions here that you can view, as well as which are the databases you want to view here. It gives you all the list of databases. Then if you want to look at space, just click on it, and then it'll take you straight to that. And if you want to go to the details, here you can see what are all the details of these databases for each of those spaces. So here you can see all of this metadata. It's all being given here as well. One of the primary other aspects about DBArtisan is the ability for you to leverage these Analyst Packs to your advantage. So whenever you're writing a query or a complex query, here you can actually go ahead and take a look at either from a database administration standpoint, you can look at all of the metadata at ease, and you can here look at what are the databases in question by clicking on the Explorer window and navigating to that particular database. And then all you got to do is just go to the top level server and click on Monitor. And this gives you an idea as to where your query is being performed or what statement is being running. So this gives you a lot of the application list here as well. So with that, anybody has any questions? One of the other ways of writing queries, you can also go ahead and use our code workbench. So this also helps you to, if you have a custom script that you want to execute real fast, you can actually go ahead and set up an auto replace here. So if you're working with Oracle, if you do DBPL, it's going to give a DBMS output line. And let's say if I wanted to do version, so here if I just type in VER and hit tab, it's actually going to go ahead and choose which data source I want to run. And here I'll just go to the master database. And there you go, it gives me all the information about my current SQL Server. So with that, I wanted to show you some of these cool tips and tricks now. So here within the tool, you have the ability to execute scripts through multiple targets. So let's say that you're having a series of SQL servers that you want to go ahead and run some specific checks, health checks. This is a great way of running them in one single UI and also being able to give you the result sets and notifying you through this mechanism. And lastly, we have the ability for you to perform any kind of scheduler activities. So you can actually run this script in your Windows Task Scheduler, kickstart that, and then save that and have that run from the Windows Task Scheduler. And I believe here you can set up some of the settings that you would like for the appropriate databases. So here you can go ahead and just say Sybase IQ, and then you have the auto format. So this also gives you all of that. And plus you have the code assist that you can do auto completion and how fast you come here, as well as having the fully qualified name. Go ahead and want them to come here, as well as having the fully qualified names. You can go ahead and enable this. Plus you have the all of this is there. So you can go either for a warning or for the errors if something is not there. So all of those options are enabled. So let's take a look at some of the questions that we have here. I'm going to stop sharing and let's see here. Yeah, so basically this is with regard to on the monitor where you see the script that's being running. That is running on in the database monitor based on the execution script. And then can we anonymize data date in the database with DBArtisan? Then no, I'm not sharing here. You mean like masking data, right? So no, data masking is not supported in this one, but we do have a tool called DB Change Manager that we can, do the masking of data. So yeah, and then yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so if we do not have any other questions, I would like to thank you for joining today's webinar.